Wang and Hoji are back once more. I'm talking about Shadow Warrior 3, and we've actually checked this out about a year ago when it released on the Xbox One. It is just now releasing on the new level of consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series console, as well as a PC update for users that already have the game. What does this update include? Well, it's a new fresh coat of paint, and packaged with a lot of the DLC that has come over time. So we have a new horde mode, several different bonus levels, some skins, some nice little tie-ins there, but really what we're talking about here is the performance-wise, what has been upgraded precisely. And from my experience, it seems it's mainly a visual upgrade. I am playing this on PC now this time around, so I get the benefit of trying mouse and keyboard controls. That's really my only different experience from the first time around, and I have to say I'm actually a fan of the mouse and keys on this game. That's because Shadow Warrior is a long-standing series that's gone on kind of next to Doom. It's kind of in the same conversation. That's the gameplay we're talking about here. It's very fast-paced, gore-supported, and very, well, brutal, unrelenting combat. You move through the game just sort of from one arena to the next arena. They're not often obvious that that's what you're walking into. The wave of enemies will spawn, you take them down. More often than not, more enemies spawn, and you take them down yet again. The whole while you're just spraying this awful dialogue. That is one of the criticisms from me for the first time around this game, and it still holds true. I have not grown enough of a humor in that regard to appreciate Wang's awful dialogue. Little quips, little jabs here and there. He's trying to be funny. There's a lot of pop culture references, but it just fell so flat on me that I actually turned down the dialogue. I don't want to hear all that as I'm playing, and luckily that is an option, so it makes the game a little bit more focused on what you're doing, the rip and tear effect of gameplay. The story of the game is actually one of the driving factors, for me at least. Of course, you could just stumble through each arena on the way, but there is a clever dynamic happening between some of the characters that you associate with in the past, coming up to the future in this third game here, and how they progress. It kept it interesting. That was a little bit of dialogue that I did appreciate. The fact that we're bouncing two different personalities off of each other, and there's a lot of history. That kind of dialogue will get you through from point A to B as you just slam and crush the enemies, and what has to be one of my favorite aspects about the game. There's kind of, again, similar to Doom, a glory kill, an execution if you will, and that'll give you an item to use against other enemies around you. It's kind of a dizzying experience. There's a huge amount of enemies you're going to be crushing, and that's essentially what you're here for. The characters, the enemy types aren't very well varied, but there are different types of kind of enemy. You get just the basic kind of zombie skeleton looking kind of fighter, all the way up until different weird clown machine thing. Jumping through Shadow Warrior 3 all over again has been a lot of fun. They haven't really changed up a whole lot here. Like I said, the new DLC is nice to pack in with that. Well, why not? New horde mode is, well, it's just horde mode as we've come to understand. I find the main storyline is basically that on its own, so the horde mode wasn't really there exciting for me. The new fresh coat of paint is welcome, for sure. I don't have the best hardware to really push and show off what is capable in game development now, but it did look very nice. It certainly satisfied my thirst for a good experience visually. The combat still stands just as it did in the past. I'm really happy with this game, but it is not terribly inventive. There's not a whole lot of innovation going on here, and this is essentially just an update repack. So I am satisfied with the game, although it's not breaking its own record really with me. I'm there with a 7 out of 10.